this and start taking it to pieces to put it together again. And that goes over there. And it's come off. This comes out of its little bed that I made. There, just to illustrate it, the French clocks only work, obviously, as is the case, when the pendulum is perpendicular to the centre of the earth. And the beauty of having a little thing like this is that you don't have to, as you do with an English clock, level it up to get it true. And I put my clocks for testing on a square surface with adjustments, which is true, so that once I've got it there, I can test it. And by moving this on this little platform here, I can make sure that the clock is in beat, because the perpendicular polarity of the pendulum will be true. I have in the past tried to do it on a squidgy box, and it's hopeless. It's not true, but this has the advantage of being able to adjust it. Obviously there's this strike going. Oh, you missed it. Anyway, the perpendicularity of it is true, and that's part of the essence of being able to get these clocks to work. Oh, there we are, strike. So the spring is still working, and I think you see on my previous video that I wasn't quite sure whether it would be. Right, so this has got to go back into the clock in the right order. And the advantage of this is that with this clamp I can make this narrower or wider to suit a larger or smaller clock, and the perpendicular for the pendulum is on the front, and I've notched those so that the hands can turn round. It was a good little thing, and saved last. Looks about right. Right, so that's vertical there. That's right. Those are there. So these pins can now go in. No, I'm doing it wrong. So there will be an edit here, because I have failed to secure the front plate. So I'll come back to that. Well, there we are. I've got those pins all in at last. The mistake I made was that I overlooked, when I ran the clock on test, the fact that I hadn't secured all the face sections and detents. So we're now into the point where we can put this back in the case. I brightened up the face here, which was in a dreadful, well, I thought it was a pretty dreadful sort of state. Now we get this back in. That is the way it goes. Now we've got a series of 3 small screws, and we've got an option of holes to put them in, but happily I made a note of which ones they came out of. So missed it. I will now get it. You see there's a lug there that I've got to get this screw into. The beauty about wearing gloves, I'm not making finger marks on the back, which should probably be otherwise the case. I hope I'm putting this together correctly. If I am, you'll see the continuation. If I'm not, there'll be the new phase. Right. That is so far. I'll put the hands on later. Right, now we're back in business. I hope we have the mechanism here to go in, and right now, just as a tip, and this is not been instructed to me, it just seems common sense, but the beauty about the French clocks is that you can move them. You can be like that, yeah, or like that, depending on how you tighten them up. And so you can adjust the perpendicularity of the pendulum so that it does point to the centre of gravity, the Earth's centre of gravity. Whereas with an English clock, which is square-faced and locked in position, you can't do that. You have to chock one end up or another. So this is what I think is fascinating. You can twist it like that, and so you twist the clock. You twist the clock, and the pendulum will hang perpendicular. Anyway, there we are. That's a hope you can see all this. Yeah, it's getting quite exciting now. Right, it's fairly firmly done, isn't it? Square there. That's all right. Right, so let's put the hands on. I'm quite pleased with that. It looks much better than it did before. Now I seem to remember that it was chiming somewhere around 2 o'clock. Not chiming, striking. So get that sorted out in a minute. As you can move that hand as well. I think there's a few finishing touches I've got to do yet. Now the pendulum, I've just wound the clock. It sounds okay. Now it sounds a bit strange, but what I do is I use a stethoscope, an industrial stethoscope like this, and I can hear the beat much more clearly. Actually, that's pretty good. Now, by twisting the face, just let me see, there we are, with the door closed, you can see that I hope moves. Now I've lost the beat. Now I've got the beat back again. There, I've got the beat. Twisting the other way, I've lost the beat. So I twist that way. And I'll get the beat. So that's more or less as it should be. Now let's see. Not quite right, is it? It's not ringing right. I'll try and lift that. Just a smidgen. Let's see. That's better. So there we have the clock. Not quite completed. I've got to put it on the table and really tune it up. But it's better than it was, I think. And I'm pleased with that. I think for the first time I've ever done a clock that's Slate. It's a happy event, I think. Yeah. And it's all original. That's what's so nice about it. Absolutely. Even down to the key that you can see in the corner over here. That's a cast iron key, not a cast iron, a steel key, not often found. So I put that certainly before the 1900s, 19th century. It's brighter. It's nicer. Now I've got to edit this. And even the back now looks quite happy. Maybe it would be louder if I didn't put the satin inside. So there we are. That's it. Ah, the transformation. And I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.